Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. I'm going to do an energy reading, but not before thanking you all for being here for these readings. I appreciate the community so much. I really enjoy reading all of your comments. I don't, especially of late, get to responding to all of them, but I still read each and every one, including many of the testimonies I've heard lately that I've read. I really appreciate those shares. They bring a different kind of encouragement that, I find them very moving. And I appreciate all of the work that you all do in your own lives to bring change. Thank you so much. I've laid all the cards out on the screen, so you'll be able to see them. And I have been getting to know this energy. Okay. I am speaking to somebody who is dealing with some changes. Okay. So this doesn't feel like unexpected change. It feels like a shift in circumstances that have asked for you to shift your habits. Okay. And what I heard actually as I started shuffling was walking a tightrope. This idea of walking a tightrope feels like, you're needing to tread carefully around something. Okay. You have some choices that you need to make, but right now you find yourself just, in this temperance energy, observing the changes, worrying about what they all mean, and trying to stay calm as you move through. In the area of what's crossing you, I have the King of Pentacles and the Devil. The King of Pentacles generally gives me Capricorn energy, and I don't know what tarot says about which sign it is, but it gives me Capricorn energy. And the Devil's also Capricorn energy. And so I don't know whether this is a Capricorn energy in your life, or whether it has got to do with habits, actually, your own habits, seeing that those are needing to change. Okay, so this could be a person in your life or an environment in your life that is confronting you in the sense that you need to make some changes. When I say habits and environment, I'm getting the sense that there is stability here that is being rocked. Okay, that's the word that's come up. The idea of stability feels like things aren't stable anymore. Things have become unstable in terms of habits and behavior. And this could also mean habitat. Okay, so where you live, for example. Okay. In your recent past, I have the Two of Wands and the Ten of Cups. You're coming from a time where you felt actually the pressure to decide what you want out of this situation, to decide what an ideal setup would look like for you, but you didn't come to that decision. You didn't make that choice. Maybe you didn't have enough time. Maybe you just didn't have enough information, and you hadn't actually been dealing with this in a very real way for long enough for you to make this decision. Okay, so you just have not reached this decision yet. And now you're confronted with this shift in circumstances and behavior and habits. Okay, perhaps in your habitat. What's interesting in this reading, before I continue around the spread, is I've got a lot of threes going on. Okay, I've got the Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Eight of Wands. I've got the Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands, Ten of Cups. Okay, and I've got the Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so I've got all of those. And what this is telling me is it's speaking about momentum That's the 8s. Persistence, okay? It's speaking about completion. That's the 10s. But it's also speaking about opportunity and a new beginning. And I don't get the sense that you're feeling that new beginning energy, because it's very clear here in front of me. And the coloring of the cards, and I don't know if you'll see it the same way I'm seeing it, but the coloring of the cards started off somewhat dark and murky for me. And then it started evolving into, yes, some of the murkiness spread around, but a brightness and a rejuvenation energy. And I was also feeling it as I was moving through here. So things were starting to appear more promising. And what they actually want me to explain to you is that what you're going through now is promising. It is uncomfortable because of the nature of what you're dealing with, but they're actually moving you through a new phase, okay? A new situation. And your mentality is coming up as important here because they want you to be able to see that your life has more opportunity now than it used to. And what's happening here, okay, because I see in your subconscious, I've got the Hierophant and the 10 of Swords. And this energy is like, these are things that you'd committed to. These are things that you are contracted to. Okay, relationship energy is what's coming through the Hierophant. But it's just bringing so much stress and grief. And you're like, you have not quite said the words yet, but you have reached your limit here. You have reached your limit with this relationship. You have reached your limit with this commitment. This, it's also bringing up, the word that came up is habitual. Okay. It's very much got to do with, it sounds like routine. It sounds like, something that is set. Okay. That's what it feels like. Something that's also meant to be a certain way. But that has changed. It's not playing out in the way that it's meant to be, is what I'm seeing here. At the top of mind, I have Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands. And when I see these two cups together, I'm thinking mind and heart. I'm thinking you are really trying to connect with the energy that's flowing through your heart and through your mind and trying to keep this balance. Okay, I see balance in a lot of places here. Even my reference to the number 3, with these cards coming up in 3s. 3s have to do with balance. And so I'm seeing you trying to balance your feelings, okay, as you walk through your reality and deal with these changes. And at the same time, consider, where do you want to find yourself beyond this? And what they're saying with this Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands, even though that's where your focus is, what they're saying, again, it's talking about your perception and your perspective on all of this. You are experiencing sort of this awakening of the heart at the same time that there's so much going on in your head. But they're saying what you're not noticing about this is how much energy you're actually dealing with, how much information is entering your space, information that you can use. Lots. They're saying there's so much. And that's this, heart feeling and mental energy. They're saying actually that's what you're focused on, but that's the result of how much information we're sending you. Okay. Because you need this information. Okay. If we were not, if you were not made aware of this heart and mind activity, you would not be made aware that you need to receive solutions to lead you to the next place, is what they're saying. Okay, so this is some kind of stress treatment. I had to find a word, like it feels like stress treatment. They're describing it as a form of treatment, a form of healing something, especially in situations where you would not be receptive to this information if you were too comfortable. That's how they're putting it. And so they're leading you somewhere, okay, this place that you want to go to, and they need to show you the options, but you will not even be able to receive the options if you just living comfortably and everything around you is carrying on as normal. That's what they're saying, and that they're saying that's the reason why you were not really dealing with this decision regarding where you want to find yourself in the future, where you want to go. I'm finding my tone interesting. I feel like someone asked for this information, and we're going to continue with this reading, but I feel like someone asked for guidance, and I feel like you just want direction, you want guidance, you want confirmation. You don't want me to, pussyfoot around this topic. That's what I'm sensing. In your advice, okay, I would normally move to your near future, but in your advice, I've got the moon and the sun, and these cards together were telling me about an eclipse. They're saying, and I don't feel this in terms of timing, I wonder when the next when the next eclipse is. Okay, I see that the next eclipse is on the 28th of August. And so I don't know what that means for anyone, if it's relevant for you in terms of timing. But what I was picking up on more here is this idea around how an eclipse, almost like a typhoon, it just washes something completely out of your life that was there before. And this is coming across to me again because we've been talking about habits and behavior and routines and all that kind of stuff to do with stability. This is speaking to me around your, this area of your life. Something fundamental is changing, and in order for it to change, they want you to be able to also see what is being eclipsed as far as your ideas. Okay, so we're dealing with a disappointment energy. Okay, we're dealing with a disappointment energy, and they want to replace this with an optimism and future forward energy. However, until we deal with the disappointment, we can't really see the opportunity. And they sort of want me to explain to you here that the current setup in all ways, in terms of your comfort, your peace, all the things that you were actually planning for, that you were trying to plan for, but couldn't quite, write your plans down or decide what you want them to be. All of those things, none of that is favorable in this current setup. Okay? This is how this is coming across. And so there's almost like, yes, take your time, working through these feelings of acceptance around this shift. But they really want you to see that this was always going to happen this way because you were not going to change it. It doesn't look like you were going to change this very set situation without the discomfort. That's what they're saying. And so to not take the discomfort too much as an external environment thing, but rather as something that is actually a catalyst to your next step and next steps. And that's actually it. They want you to be able to see these changes as the eclipse that you need, these changes as catalysts towards your next destination. That's how they're putting it. Okay, and they're actually unshackling you, and I see that in the area of your surrounding factors. 9 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands. When I saw the 9 and the 8 of Cups, it gave me the slowing down energy so that you can walk away. Okay, so it feels at first like your freedom, 9 of Cups, your freedom is being sort of taken away from you, but it's actually not. Okay, it's the release of your freedom within you so that you can walk away, and not just that, so that things can get moving in your life, so that you can experience more of your own energy, because I get the sense that your energy has actually been trapped here. Okay, that's the only reason I would say that. Your energy has been trapped. And so this release of energy has already started. Okay. And also there's so many things that are happening in your space here and these surrounding factors. The cards are also saying to me that you are also being released from this repetitive solution driving, this repetitive needing to talk through stuff, explaining. Okay, because I'm seeing this in the 8 of Wands in the communication. I'm seeing that a lot. Okay. And 1555 on the clock tells me that this is the beginning of many changes. Okay. And they almost said that in this tone, so that you can hear the optimism, the opportunity in my tone, rather than, oh, so many changes. Okay. Because there's a big difference. There's a big difference between those two tones. Okay. And in your near future, I have the Lovers and the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. You're going to be given options to be able to build. They're giving me options, growing, and your ability to actually pick from things that you like. They're enhancing your options. Your options are going to feel enhanced. This is especially because of the stuff that you're shedding that keeps you tricked into believing that you want, maybe there's a part of you that wants to keep anything where you are or stay where you are in this, let's call it the old situation. And so with your perspective opening up and your perspective shifting, you're going to be able to actually rather fall in love with your opportunities and the areas you can grow in and grow into. That's what they're showing me. You're going to be in a more building energy, an upward movement energy, a forward movement energy, progress energy. And you're going to enjoy that. You're going to love that. You're going to feel like, where has it been all this time? That's what they're showing me. So you feel like this right now, but they're saying with this eclipse, we are moving you into a growth energy, a growth mindset with opportunity. In the area of what you want the most and fear the most, I have King of Wands, 10 of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles. And so these wands are also giving me, this fire is giving me transformation, change. Okay. And it's also, the kitchen is hot. You don't feel like you have a lot of time. Okay. You don't want this to take too long, but you feel like you don't have time. But also what these cards are saying to me is, the King of Wands is about leadership. And so there is a fear in you around directing this, okay, in a direction that will leave you feeling stuck or burdened and without options. You're afraid of making some of these decisions that may lead you to a place where you feel like you have less options. And so that is the fear of change playing out. That's what it is, because the way I'm seeing this is that your current temperament and your current sort of fluster is not allowing you to see that you have many options. And they're almost saying that you are not in the right space right now to be able to see and receive your options. And so give this stage its time and allow this eclipse to, and eclipse, I'm not saying this has to be end of August, because I don't even know when you'll hear this reading, but I mean that this idea of this stuff moving out of your life, start to see what is being illuminated in your life out of this event where so many things are sort of ending. So when something dies, or once it's already dead, is your opportunity to just spot what is living, for example. And for as long as you only focus on what is dying, it's hard to see what is living, what is breathing, what is growing. That's kind of what they're showing me here. Okay. And they're also showing me that you do really want to direct your experience. You really do want to say what you want, say how you want it, say when you want to do that. Okay. Because you realize that it will relieve you of a lot of stress. You really do want to do that. Okay. And they're saying that you'll be able to. They're just saying it's a kind of a timing thing, and it's an adjustment thing. In your outcome, I have the High Priestess, the Hermit, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. For me, this is where your options open up. And what's very interesting for me here is when I think about this eclipse energy with the moon and the sun, it's almost like that's what's bringing through all this new information. There is a lot sitting in the High Priestess and Hermit aspect of you that is not yet in your awareness, but it's in your being. All this energy, all of this information, a lot of this information is going to share with you ways in which you can care for yourself better, circumstances that will allow you to care for yourself better. That means more self-love is coming into your life. Definitely, I felt that. And they're saying that all of this information that you're going to be receiving through your inner guidance. Your inner guidance is already at work. Currently, it's stressing you out because you're very much aware of what's happening in your head and your heart, and lots of changes happening. And, you're still settling into this shift in circumstances and behaviors around you, still shifting. And so what they're showing me is this information is ready and waiting for you, and you will be able to notice it, perceive it, understand it. And they're also saying that, this Eight of Pentacles is giving me, you're going to be acting on some of these decisions, possibly even all of them. You're going to know what to do. And what they're showing me is this continuous unfolding of insight and action. And so you're going to kind of form these ideas. You're going to be exploring, what do I want to do next? How do I want this actually? You're going to be getting all these ideas, and you're going to act on them. And then you're going to get another one and act on it, and get another one and act on it. And through that, they're saying you're going to be building, even if your circumstances don't change immediately, they're saying like there'll be a timing lag. I'm seeing like a timing lag here. Yeah. I saw a 9 go to 8, and then I have another 9 going to an 8 with the Pentacles. So they're showing me a timing lag, but in order to, it's almost like it might feel like you're slowing down, but actually you are slowing down to like second gear, first gear, to be able to build momentum and move stronger is what they're showing me. And this is the opening up of your life. And they just want you to know that what you're going through now is not easy, but it is important, is what they're saying. Not easy, but important. And your perspective will shift, and you'll start to feel, it feels like a lot at once. And when you get a lot at once, you need an opportunity to adjust to these new circumstances. And as soon as you adjust, you'll then be able to perceive all this new information that is going to lead you where you want to go. All this information that is going to relieve you of your burdens and open up your opportunities and give you a sense of growth and progress in your life, and a sense that you are now again feeling and experiencing life through your own energy, because again, I feel like it was trapped. And with that, I'm getting like, this was also trapping your expression, trapping your ability to sort of ideate and think of new ways of doing things and new places you could be in and all these things. Okay. And so what I'm seeing here in this reading is necessary change, not necessarily easy, but necessary and most certainly asked for, manifested at some point. Okay? And so it's almost like you saw this coming, but you could not have planned for the discomfort, is what it's showing me. I hope that this reading helped somebody out there. I'm going to leave it here. Sending you all so much love.